pulse is getting weak.
Phone it fast as you can.
I'm losing him.
I'm almost there.
He's gone, Captain Banting.
One more for Buttersfield. Close him up.
Come on, slowpoke. You should be lagging. There, I see it. Come on. You better hurry. Down here. There, look, can you see it?
No? Where is it?
Oh, over there, in the trunk of the maple tree. Well?
Oh, yes, there it is. I've got it.
Well, what is it?
Everyone knows that. It's a pteranodon. A pileated woodpecker.
And the Latin?
Dryocopus pileatus. Can we go home for luncheon now?
I search high and low to find a new bird for your list, and all you can think of is your stomach.
Julia. She's not here right now.
To die, aren't I?
No, you're not gonna die.
But I talked to a chaplain.
It's gone.
Got to talk to a chaplain.
Here. I'm here.
Don't want to be alone.
Well, hang on. We'll get you to hospital pretty quick.
Will you say a prayer?
Of course. What's your denomination?
St. John's Old Militant.
Dear Lord, as a new day is breaking, watch over your children. Give them strength. Give them guidance. Help them to understand. Watch over your faithful servant, Patrick. His hour of need.
Elizabeth, where are you? Elizabeth? Elizabeth, darling. What happened?
Everything just went weak.
I just can't get over how you filled out.
Score!
Frederick, dear boy, our prayers are answered. He brought you back safely.
We prayed as a family every night. Father insisted.
That's nice. Sometimes I thought this had never happened.
I think they might need help with lunch.
Yeah.
So, I stuffed his intestines back in and tried to stitch him up, which wasn't easy because the bitchin' things kept popping back out. Anyway, we got him fixed up, and I stitched him up using a double crochet. Got him fixed up, sent him back behind the lines. Where was I? Oh, yes, no. I was on my way to relieve this wounded M.O., the medical officer, at this forward dressing station when this Kraut machine gunned the latrines while the poor sod was still in it. Well, you never heard such blue language. Sorry, anyone else? No? Oh, all right. Now, so there we were, splashing about, up to our asses in mud, shells landing everywhere, difficult to know where in hell the Germans were firing from. All of a sudden, there is this almighty Christly explosion, and there I am, I'm sailing through the air, and I wake up in a field hospital, and somebody is stitching me. And for that, they gave me the goddamn military cross, if you can believe it.
Fred.
What?
When you left, didn't smoke. You didn't use coarse language.
Never crammed heads into gunny bags either. Put decapitated bodies into stretchers. We live in a cocoon. Coming back home, it's like stepping back in time. You've no idea at all?
No, this has been quite a day. They've gone to their beds now. Bread needed. Mother, I think I'll cut back on milkers this winter. 15. No, 16. That heifer's need a freshen. Harry Day's bull jumped the fence and got her. A Hereford it was.
It's late. You must be tired.
Mm-hmm.
It will take time to adjust. I'll see you in the morning.
Oh, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he will receive the crown of life. Amen. I now proudly call upon Captain Frederick Banting to read the first lesson.
What did he say?
He wants you to read the lesson.
Me?
Be ye therefore followers of God as
dear children, and walk in love as Christ loved us, and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savor. Savior.
I mean, he could have asked.
I was terrible.
It was meant as a surprise and an honor.
Well, I would do anything rather than stand up and... It was terrible.
You were wonderful.
I was?
I think we need to set a wedding date.
Wedding date? Wedding date? Hell, sorry. I'm not even discharged from the army yet.
We can plan. Or are you having second thoughts?
Oh, no. It's just that when I get out of the army, I won't have a job, which is fine, because I'll have to do some more residency at the hospital for sick children.
You're already a doctor.
I'm out of touch. I'm rusty. You have to remember what happened to my class. In the last 2 years of medical school, pushed into a few months, and then we're shipped off to France. I mean, a lot of us. And I have to get up to date.
We could get married and live on my income until... Teachers make good salaries.
No, absolutely not. Just not done. No self-respecting man, would dream of marrying before he could fully support his wife. I mean, my father, for God's sake, your father. Sorry.
Now who's living in a cocoon?
The fact of the matter is, we only have so many places to fill. Turning down excellent men is a loathsome task. I have no choice. Your abilities are not in question, you understand. You're a fine, competent surgeon, respected by colleagues, well liked by your patients. I'm sorry.
Then why?
It's everyone's ambition, it seems. House surgeons, med students, interns, to secure a staff position at sick children's. Only the most exceptional can be considered.
God, it was my future.
There are other hospitals.
Well, the Toronto General isn't what I have in mind.
I don't know about there either. Medicine doesn't begin and end standing over an operating table in this province. It may not be as glamorous, but there's nothing wrong with being a general practitioner. There are towns all over the province needing good doctors. Sometimes expectations have to be lowered.
So, what do you think?
It's a wonderful milestone. It's a very important day.
So, this is it. Banting's descent into purgatory. Jesus. Oh, sorry.
Time will heal.
As will Dr. Banting. Now, this is where the citizenry of London will wait to see the great Dr. Banting. And this is the inner sanctum sanctorum, where I will perform miracles. Desk over there, sewing table there, and bookcase over there. Now, I will live in the room across the hallway, and I'll pray to God I'll make enough money to pay the goddamn mortgage, loan from my father, and the cost of the bloody car.
If you weren't so proud.
What the hell does that have to do with it?
If we were married.
Damn it! Listen! I had a goal, a dream. that's been destroyed. It's been shattered. All right? Now I have got to get used to it. I've got to get used to this. All right? I need time. Just give me time.
I've given you nothing but. I don't think there'll ever be a right time for you.
Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Morning. Morning. Ah, morning. Who's first? Next.
Dear, I do think.
Be right with you.
Beg your pardon?
I'll be right with you.
Oh, I'm here to see Dr. Banting, but thanks anyway.
Oh, that's me. Appendectomy is a snap. Come here, trying to clean the carburetor.
That must be a slow day.
Oh, no. Just took advantage of a break between patients. She almost broke down on some house calls last night.
Well, I was hoping you might not be so busy. I'm Dr. Miller. Physiology Department, Western University.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Greece.
No, I was told you were practicing in London, and I'm looking for a part-time surgery and anatomy demonstrator. One lecture a week would help me enormously.
Lecture? You mean stand up and lecture? Yes. As the vein enters the substance of the parotid gland, it becomes the retromandibular vein, the other branch of which joins with the posterior jugular vein. As the vein enters the substance of the parotid gland, it becomes...
Hope you have a good session.
So do I.
Look, I'm wondering if you can do me another big favor. I'm in a bit of a jam. And I need a lecture on carbohydrate metabolism.
Oh, God, no. I don't know a thing
It
about
wouldn't take much. They're first-year students. You get them started on diabetes and the pancreas.
What's this?
Juvenile diabetes mellitus. Chances of recovery? None.
Never seen it. When is the lecture?
Monday, 9 o'clock.
Oh, no, that's 2 days. Right. No, hell no, I couldn't learn to spell it in that time.
Elizabeth.
The only thing missing is a brass band. Who is he, the King of England? Just looks like him. That's Charles Evans Hughes, the new Secretary of State. Oh, him. I voted for him when he ran for president in 16. Didn't do him any good, though.
Fatigue. Increased appetite. Excessive urination and thirst. Weight loss. Elizabeth, I'm Dr. Allen. This is Nurse Scott. And how are we today?
Very well, thank you.
Why don't we get on the scales and see how much a 13-year-old young lady weighs? There. Now, you wait here, and Nurse Scott will be back to keep you company in a few minutes. I'm afraid Elizabeth does have diabetes mellitus. I think she should be admitted to the Institute immediately, today, and placed on a 24-hour fast.
That's ridiculous. The child is losing weight.
She is 73 pounds and will lose more on a strict diet of 400 to 600 calories a day. The foods she has been eating have been too rich, too nourishing. I have to find Elizabeth's tolerance level, the right number of daily calories and weight that will stabilize her blood sugar levels. So I will reduce her food intake.
This is quackery. You do not deny food sustenance to a young and growing child who is already losing weight. I mean, in Europe, surely there are specialists. I'll take her to London or Paris.
Mr. Secretary, my treatment is the only one worth anything, the only way to contain the disease. The entire medical world, Mr. and Mrs. Hughes, including London and Paris, has been stymied by research that goes up one blind alley after another. I am the top specialist, which is why you came here in the first place.
Melanie, a new roommate for you. This is Elizabeth Hughes from Washington, D.C. Elizabeth, I'd like you to meet Melanie Hayden from Southampton, New York.
What I have to offer is an extension, extra time. There is no known cure. No way Elizabeth can survive. She might have 18 months, 2 years if she's lucky. I wish I could offer a miracle, but I can't.
You're wrong. Common sense says you have to be wrong.
The pancreas, which is located just behind the stomach, is about 6 inches long. God damn it, I should never have agreed to this.
Fred.
What? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I blasphemed. Sorry. Won't do it again. Right, here goes. The pancreas, which is to be found just
Too flat.
flat.
Your voice. As in put people to sleep.
The pancreas. The pancreas is a bit like a bunch of grapes. So imagine the bunch with hollow stems, and each grape is lined with cells that pour out digestive juices known as the external secretion. That's not bad, eh? But more important is the 1% of the pancreas which is known as the islets of Langerhans, which it is believed secrete some kind of substance directly into the blood which affects carbohydrate metabolism. And if I get that far, I will have earned my money. If there is a inadequate production of this substance, the internal secretion, the body fails to burn the starches and sugars. They remain in the blood sugar increases until it passes through the kidneys into the pee-pee.
You didn't have to say that.
What?
You know. They were embarrassed.
Dear God.
I don't shock so easily. Not anymore. Can't shock me the way you used to, Fred Banting. You'd be surprised what an education teaching school is, dealing with children from all walks. I think I understand what the war, going to Europe, did for you. How life must have opened up. Cloister door unlocked. My world's changing too. There's a girl in my class, Mildred. I heard her say a certain word. Well, I reprimanded her, of course. Out of frustration, fear, vulnerability, she screamed the word at me. Kiss. 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 I wanted to go to her and comfort her. Apologize for humiliating her in front of the others. She had no other way of striking back. At that moment, I realized that the standards and values I'd been taught to believe in were fine for the Ments and Alliston. But in Mildred's world, that word's a normal part of the language. I've learned a lot about many things. But it's not easy. Adjusting, struggling out of the cocoon. Where were we?
Interesting to contrast the results of excision of the pancreas and the simple ligation of the ducts, Mering and Minkowski. As early as 1889, resulted in a severe and fatal diabetes. Obstruction of the main pancreatic duct leads to an advanced atrophy of the pancreas. The islets may remain intact. What is this? The relation of the islets of Langerhans to diabetes. Special references to the cases of pancreatic lithiasis. Well, wasn't I? Born on the sunny side of the hedge.
Professor. Now I have these two sets of dogs. Now with the first set, I tie off the pancreatic ducts. I completely ligate them. Now when these ducts are ligated, all tied off, the pancreas here will atrophy, just wither up like a bunch of little old raisins, leaving only the islets of Langerhans intact. Now remember, they think that these islets hold the secretion, this hormone that controls the blood sugar. Okay. Now, with these other dogs, I'd remove the pancreas completely. Just cut it out, and these dogs would become diabetic.
That's been done before.
Lots of times. Now, finally, I go back into these first dogs. I take out this withered pancreas, make an extract from this pancreas, and pop that into the diabetic dog. Now, if the diabetic dog's blood sugar goes down, I've got something. An active principle.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, let's put it this way. I think that it's worth... Well, I don't know. I was going to say that you should talk to J.J.R. McLeod at the U of T, their new professor of physiology. I mean, he's the carbohydrate man in Canada, and he's one of the best in the world. But I hesitate, because your idea is so damn simple.
Not to have been done before.
No, but what's to lose? I mean, all he can do is eat you alive.
Dr. Banting, I say this not to discourage you, make you aware that since the 1st century AD, when Areteus referred to the melting down of the flesh and limbs in urine, there's been a search for the cure for diabetes mellitus. Without any success, I might add. To be frank, based on my own research and the study of anything written on the subject, which is considerable, as I'm sure you're aware, I have a feeling that the internal secretion will never be captured in a pancreatic extract. So what makes you think, Dr. Banting, with all due respect, you understand, that a general practitioner with little or no research training in the conventional sense can succeed where eminent scientists working in the best equipped laboratories in the world, some who've spent their entire lives trying to unravel the mysteries of the pancreas? Now, what makes you think you can succeed where they failed?
Well, perhaps. You see, what I'm suggesting is, well, I have to admit I'm not too well read on the subject. But, well, I took an apple for Isaac Newton. It could be that the eminent scientists did not use the approach that I'm suggesting.
Dr. Banting.
I mean, it could be, couldn't it? I mean, have you, Professor McLeod, in your research, ligated a dog's pancreas, closed the dog up for the atrophying process to occur, gone back in, removed the atrophied pancreas, made an extract from it, and injected it into a diabetic dog? And after the appropriate time, tested the sugar in the blood of the diabetic dog to see if it was still abnormally high.
No, and I must confess, to my knowledge, no one has ever done it before, Dr. Banting.
Maybe in the spring, if I still want to. He said he'd give me lab space, 10 dogs, an assistant, and things for, well, you know, blood testing, urine, stuff like that. He said it was a unique theory, his very words. How about that, eh?
It's wonderful.
So it'll probably take most of the summer.
What about your practice here?
Close it. I mean, on a temporary basis. Hell, no one's going to miss me. But I got to be honest. He did say it would mean a great sacrifice, Dr. Banting, with a high risk of getting negative results, which in itself would be of great physiological value.
Sounds.
Yes, ma'am. But this is J.J. McLeod, the carbohydrate man in Canada.
And what will this carbohydrate man pay you for doing this research?
Well, nothing. See, he's giving me the opportunity.
McLeod replied to my letter.
And?
Oh, the offer's still on. Says I could start in May.
I see.
ED. I've got to have something more to do than dispensing powder, curing bunions, and examining people who smell. I have to be where it counts. That means not here, but Toronto.
Which means we have to do it your way. When are you going to say it?
Say what?
Our marriage date will have to be...
Oh, for God's sake, try to understand, yeah?
No. Damn it. You try and understand. What about my wanting something better?
I'm just talking a few months.
Isn't it always only a few months? You know, I used to imagine being at a function, the doctor's wife. People would nod and say to themselves, doesn't Dr. Banting's wife look contented? Now they'll say, if they're not already, isn't that Edith Roach, old maid? Isn't that the expected fate of a minister's daughter? Have you noticed we never discuss my future? Our future.
Jesus. Look at my future is our future. You know, diabetic children, when they're first diagnosed, it's like someone pulls out the bung on their life. It just runs out of them till there's nothing left. And that's it. There's no replugging it. That's it. The final trumpet. It's their last walk. This idea that I have, it's our idea. It's our future.
All you want to do is prove a point.
All right. So what's wrong with that? I don't like to fail. All right, there. Happy? I've said it.
At marriage, either.
Dear God, Edith.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Sure.
We've become a habit. Close, but nowhere near close enough. Recently, I almost came to see you. I decided I didn't want to wait for marriage. A honeymoon. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Why not? I'm almost 30 years old. I've never seen a man's body. Not even exactly sure what happens. Well, I have a good idea. From books and other women at university. I wanted us to explore each other. I wanted to feel you inside me. Making our love complete.
Why didn't I? Well, I didn't want you to feel that I was trapping you into marriage, that I was afraid of losing you. Was that close? Well, I guess it's just as well the way things worked out. You see, I can't live with the uncertainty any longer. Never knowing, feel like a puppet jerked around on a string. And yes, wondering how I am perceived, how we are perceived in Alston. I've got a lot to offer. I've got a life to live.
The entire thing will probably evaporate into a cloud of smoke. But you can only but profit from the experience. Who knows, you might even learn something. So there's no confusion, I suggest you toss a coin to see who starts.
Tails.
Tails it is.
He's yours.
Gentlemen, Dr. Banting, your health for the summer. Charles Best and Clark Noble, two of my best students. Fourth-year honours physiology and biochem and heading for Master of Arts next year. They're both good blood men, so you'll learn from each other. The work will be split between the two of them. I do believe you won the toss, Mr. Best. If you'll excuse me. Well, can need a little bit of spit and polish and a liberal dose of elbow grease, but I'm sure you're equal to the task.
Professor McLeod tells me you're a GP?
Did he tell you I specialize in old ladies' hemorrhoidal arses? So, where did you do your postgraduate research?
Vimy Ridge. Arras, Léger, Passchendaele. Now, I'd venture to suggest you ask some more intelligent questions. Like, what do we do when we have some healthy islets of Langerhans on one hand and a depancreatized dog about to go into a coma on the other?
Full stroke from a point centered between the 11th ribs to down just past the umbilicus. Good. Scissors. That's good. Clamp it back. Arm off. You see? Look at that spleen.
Where?
There. For God's sake, Banting, I have to give you an anatomy lesson. That's the stomach. Now, tucked in there is the adrenal gland, kidney, and the reason we're gathered here together today, the pancreas.
That? Christ, it's so small.
You'll have to cut it away from ether, laddie, ether. You want the wee latcher walking off the table? You'll have to cut it away from the mesentery tissue after first tying off the blood vessels. Monitor the heart, monitor the heart. We'll lose enough dogs as it is. Mind you, hope not too many. Without adding to the risk with sloppy anesthesia. See, gentlemen, the reason I suggested a two-stage pancreatectomy is because it makes the surgery less stressful for the dog and for the surgeon.
There she is. I see her. She's with Elizabeth.
You're late. I thought you weren't coming.
Oh, sweetheart. You're looking so much better.
Well, well, young lady, aren't we looking splendid this week? I brought you something from your grandma. It was all we could do to keep her from coming.
Look out, look out! Oh, Charlie.
Before you say anything, I'm sorry I'm late. It won't happen again. I had to pick up my uniform.
Uniform?
Militia. I know it doesn't compare to the real thing.
Well, what are we? Captain?
Lieutenant. First, I have 2 weeks training coming up in Niagara.
Why didn't anyone tell me? 2 weeks? We've only just begun.
Oh, it's in July. Clark Noble consulted.
Well, we may not be in business by then. 385 died. Last night, I did an autopsy. One of the tied-off vessels had ruptured. It's not easy. Bitchin' things are hard to get at. I'm all fingers and thumbs with these dogs.
It's number 3.
3? Oh, God. I hadn't realized. I mean, consciously. These mutts are going to put their lives in line. I got to do better by them. Still, Lieutenant, haven't lost the war yet. Say what?
Did you get your test results?
Yes, I can go home until the fall.
What'd you weigh?
58. He says I could be up to 60, 61 by next visit, if I stay on the 1,200 calories and stick to the diet.
Green meat, eggs, lettuce, and milk.
And boil the vegetables. 3 times a day to eliminate carbohydrates and no bread, sweets, desserts, and cakes.
Are you going to have a nurse?
I think so. Someone Dr. Allen recommended. She'll even be coming to the lake for the summer, like a nursemaid.
We were supposed to go to Newport for the same, but out of the blue, my mother says we're going to Europe.
Girls, a little more pace. We have to burn up those calories.
There we go. So, we got engaged. Margaret, that's her name. Stunningly beautiful. Smart, sophisticated.
Look, Charlie, I think we should just concentrate on what we're doing and save the story of your lady friends for later.
was only 17. Safe in the arms of Jesus.
Do you think there's such a place as heaven?
Yes.
What do you suppose it's like?
I've no idea. I guess a lot of clouds and things, and choirs and rays of sunshine. You can eat anything you want.
Are you afraid of dying?
I never thought about it.
You don't know, do you? We're going to die.
This chapel's creepy and you're morbid.
Dr. Allen said maybe this year, certainly next. I overheard my parents talking about it. Everyone who has diabetes, especially at my stage, dies. He said so. Nothing can save me. And everyone pretends I'm going to get better. So I asked her if I was going to die. And she just stared at me. Didn't say a word. Just cried. Blew her nose and cried. And then, as though it was nothing, she said, well, everyone does, darling. Eventually, me, you, Daddy, everyone goes to heaven to be with the angels.
God, I hope we don't lose this one.
Always remember, without accurate, impeccable blood sugar readings that can be questioned by no man, you have nothing. That and faultless record-keeping and note-taking, sans peur et sans reproche. Miss Grange has my address in Scotland, should you need to contact me. She also has my notes on extract preparation, which you should read when you get to that stage. On the crossing, I'll pray that your pancreas is atrophy to your liking. For that, and for a good-sized salmon to land on the line. Have a good summer, gentlemen.
So there was no protection when you went out there. Shells, bullets, flying, and did what you could. And the odds are all cockeyed. I mean, one chap bought it 3 minutes after he arrived. And me, Christ, 7 days a week.
Christ. Oh, Christ. Fred, I'm losing it.
Get the straps on, man. Get the goddamn straps on, man.
Okay, there's no need to shout, for Christ's sake. I've never killed anything before.
Miss Burgess, as you can see from her references, has a great deal of experience in situations such as this. She will be responsible for all Elizabeth's meals. Everything will be measured in grams, every morsel. You will need to obtain a set of apothecary scales to avoid any errors. A 100-gram slice of chicken means exactly that. A total meal of 285 calories must be adhered to. Elizabeth must take regular walks, but no overexertion. Summer at the lake will be the best thing for her.
I sent some books in the Victrola ahead and some new Caruso recordings to Quaila Pira and Kate Jeliga Manina. Father sent me fishing rod, but with this heat, the bass will be deep and hard to rouse.
Do you play Parcheesi, Miss Burgess?
No, but you can teach me. And call me Blanche.
Have a wonderful summer. Father and I will come just as soon as he can get away. What with this dispute between Costa Rica and Panama, as well as all the things going on to get the conference ready, I hardly see him. His days are so long. Remember, we love you. Back to Washington?
Three weeks, and we've already lost 25% of our dollars. Well, that just wouldn't look very good on a CV, would it? Huh? And when as negative results go, that is negative. Still, we're getting better. But if we can't control the flies, we can't control the goddamn infection. Still, there's got to be a solution somewhere. But, numero uno, we've got to get our dog inventory looking good before McLeod gets back. And I have an idea. Excuse me.
Fred. Allow me to present my fiancée, Miss Margaret Mark. This is Dr. Banting, my boss.
Pleased to meet you. You have to excuse.
Charles has told me a great deal about you.
Well, if I can find my damn glasses. And cigarettes.
You'll be able to see how truly beautiful she is. While I just get my coat.
This man, he is indeed the master of understatement. Beat it. We'll talk about the other tomorrow. No, in fact, I'll look after it myself. Nice joke, my dear.
Maxwell?
What?
Red Roach.
Ah, Mr. Roach.
Okay, how much?
$3.
$3?
$2.50.
I don't know. Looks like it's got pustular dermatitis to me. $2.
It's yours.
I need regular supply for a while. Nothing smaller than this. They're all bitches.
Ah, Mr. Roach. This ain't Eaton's or Simpsons. You'll have to take what comes. Dachshunds all Great Danes. It's not easy getting hold of
Don't
it.
want to know.
Well, you'll have to take what comes.
No deal.
Yeah, hang on. I'll try and keep this size. Hey! This extra. Water.
Same time tomorrow.
No Danes, no Dachshunds, no leash, and a bitch.
with a fancy ribbon in his hair. No charge.
Knowing that I was going to see you tonight was the only thing that kept me going. I thought he was going to sack me.
He seems too nice a man to do a thing like that.
Well,
He does have rather a sad face, though.
he's lonely, and he's obsessed with his idea. It's the only thing that keeps him going. I think it has something to do with that school teacher who's going to marry.
The business you mentioned about her engagement ring on his watch chain seemed a little eccentric. Don't you think? Maybe you should find him a new girl.
No, man. I like him. We get along kind of okay. My commitment to him is to work until Clark Noble takes over. That's it. Anyway, let him look after his own love life.
Glad Edith can't see me now.
Or McLeod.
Shh, don't even mention the word.
Come on. Come on. Come on. We'll be broke before St. Swithin's Day.
Who needs to wait till then? I'm gonna have to sell my car, for God's sake. For whatever it's worth.
No.
Yeah, no. Seriously. However, we are improving. I mean, 6 ligated months. 1 successfully, a pancreatized dog. Oh, it ain't bad, Mr. Best. We are on our way. Damn it. Oh. So, time for one final lesson before you go off to play soldiers.
Tonight?
Ooh.
It's almost midnight.
Charlie boy, you have to learn. Without accurate, impeccable blood sugar readings, you have
nothing.
Nothing, right? So, one refresher course. Shh, good night. I have 2 cc's of blood, diluted with 8 cc's of water. I've added 0.2 grams of dry picric acid. I've centrifuged it, filtered the supernatant liquid, and served it over meat and potatoes when cooled. All right, seriously. I have divided the filtrate into 2 test tubes for duplicate determinations. What's that?
A diabetic sample I got from Biochem. Give me a reading.
Oh. All right.
Wipe it. Now, adjust it until you think the color in the right-hand chamber matches that of the graduated color chart in the eyepiece.
Yeah. 0.30. Christ, that's high.
Severe diabetes. 0.40 is coma time. 0.50, make arrangements for the undertaker. Nirvana Fred is 0.10. 15 is pretty good, too. What you're looking for in there is an eyeball full of pale yellow. Now, can I go and play soldiers?
Good night.
Good night.
Yuck! It's not very good. I can't decide whether to paint like Monet, Cézanne, or Van Gogh. You know, Blanche, when I looked up artists in the encyclopedia, composers too, they're all men. Oh, why do you suppose that is?
Well, because women were, still are to some extent, expected to be wives and mothers, to feed and nurture the impoverished artists, which is precisely what I'm going to do for you. Oh, I think that's very good.
It's different.
It's dinner time. I'll call you.
wise to turn back.
The distance from where I turned back to shore
was more than equal to...
So I really did make it.
Where have you been?
Militia training.
I know that. Tonight is what I mean. You said you'd be here at 6. It is now 10 past 11.
Delays. You know how the Army is.
I guess you don't remember. 398. A dog. You know, the experiments.
Of course, I mean the number doesn't ring a bell.
It was the only depancreatized dog that we had.
So?
Well, naturally it became diabetic. Blood sugar elevated. She showed all the symptoms. Excessive drinking, pissing all over the place, you know, the works. But can I get an accurate blood sugar? No, sir. 0.1 bloody 5. Yeah.
Maybe you didn't read the color there properly.
Maybe my ass biochem tested it and came up with 0.35. Right. Approaching coma time. Didn't you say? Oh, yeah. Banting has been looking a horse's ass around here, Charlie boy, because of your sloppy work habits. Dirty tubes, pipettes, stale, contaminated solutions that have all combined to foul up my readings. Well, let me tell you that things are going to change. If McLeod's golden-haired boy wants to stay on board, he's going to get his ass to work this minute cleaning every piece of equipment until it sparkles. You will dump all your solutions and make fresh. I've never seen such filthy, slipshod, unprofessional work habits in my life. Get the mind off diddling, boy, and concentrate.
You foul-mouthed son of a bitch!
Watch it. Let me know what you decide.
Tea? Or coffee?
Tea.
Morning. Just wondering who got in earlier than me. Perhaps you didn't leave. How to place you?
Banting. Fred Banting, sir. Class of 17. You're Professor Henderson, pharmacology. This is Charles.
Charles Best, of course. One of McLeod's boys, the pancreatic business. I thought Clark Noble was supposed to be taking over from you, Best.
I was hoping Dr. Banting would allow me to stay for the duration of the experiment.
Absolutely can't switch horses at this stage.
You can't go without sleep. Fog brains do not great experiments make. Gentlemen.
You prefer English breakfast, right?
Yes. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
So, you studied under Bellion Henderson, too?
Yeah. Herman Henderson, we used to call him.
Well, he's quite the Machiavelli around here.
Christ is
all the department heads court him, even though a lot of them don't like him. McLeod, for example. Mother country versus the colonials, right? The thing is, Henderson has access to all the right ears. So it's good to have him on your side. I mean, that's the gossip. I don't know. Remember his pièce de résistance joke?
Yeah. He used to fill a French safe with water to test for elasticity. Did it my time, too.
The biggest laugh was when the first dumb Odig asked, "What is it?"
Shit.
That pancreas is normal.
There's no degeneration whatsoever. God damn. Banting! I struck out. I've been tying off the ducks, probably. One I can understand. Two at the outside. But 5 out of 7. Oh! Oh! God damn flies! No way to work. We're sanitary in the trenches. Crazy. I need to get a decent drink. Bloody prohibition. I mean, what sort of damn uncivilized country is this? You can't get a proper drink. They give you lousy catgut to work with. The catgut has got something to do with it. And that's not an excuse. It's just too stiff with the ligatures to hold properly. And surgery is supposed to be my specialty. I mean, if you want to quit, there'll be no hard feelings.
You are one flim-flam artist. You know that? You have no intention of quitting. Any more than I do. And you know we'll be back in here tomorrow, going through the dogs, tying them off with silk instead of catgut. And in 6 weeks, they'll be ready for the big day. Injecting an extract into a diabetic dog. Two work today. That doesn't spell failure to me. Another world out here. If only I knew what day it was. Margaret. Can we give you a ride, Fred?
No. Thanks. Exercise will do me good.
How are you, Fred?
Good. Good. Sorry to have shanghaied him for so long.
You sure?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Poor beggar.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you while we drive. Saturday, July 30th, 1921. I'm now slicing atrophied pancreatic tissue. Dog number 391. Using a chilled laboratory mortar, I place the sliced atrophied tissue in a mixture of salts in water. Now I immerse the mortar and contents in freezing brine.
Noted.
Take the partially frozen contents and grind with sand using a laboratory pestle. Filter using cheesecloth. And filter again through blotting paper. Finally, we warm our filtered solution to body temperature.
Elevated. 0.20.
This is it. Banting's Rubicon. Or something.
How long?
An hour. Sure. Yeah, we'll give her an hour. Then we'll find out if I go back to London, the once and future GP, or
Say something.
We'll give her another 5 cc's. We shall go to lunch for an hour and see if we brought her down any further.
I don't believe it. I would have put good money on you running down Young Street right now telling the entire world. It works. What more do you want?
Impeccable breedings that can be questioned by no man, including MacLeod. And when I first met him, he mentioned something about a fellow named Areteus, Greek, I suppose, and the search for the elixir, the internal secretion. Maybe we saw it today, huh?
Starr, McLeod, Henderson, and Noble says, I couldn't believe it. Where will we find 3 wise men?
It wasn't the injection. No, I know that. So, it had to be infection. It had to be.
Come on, Kathy. Oh, darling, did you have a wonderful
Worked out day. Well, Miss Burgess, how was the trip down? Must have been very difficult.
Hey, Lizzie, how are you doing?
New York provided a pleasant break. Miss Burgess, I'd like you to meet our other daughter, Carol. Athens just finished at Wellesley.
Looking very well, isn't she, Lady?
And Mrs.
You're
Elizabeth
looking very
Burgess.
well.
Burgess, how do you
Let
do?
me carry you down.
I can walk, Father. I'm not an invalid.
Welcome home, Elizabeth. Seems like old times. Any new sightings? For your list?
No, I wasn't much interested.
Oh.
Perhaps you're growing out of these things. Elizabeth did some very good paintings.
Yes, I think that when I graduate from college, I'm going to go live in Paris and become a bohemian. Will you come live with me, Blanche?
Oh, well, You realize, Miss Burgess, you must consider this your home. Consider yourself part of the family. Mr. Hughes has a wonderful library, and of course, Washington itself has so many things of interest to offer. The Lincoln Memorial is virtually finished. We're to have the dedication next May.
And that should be quite an event. I saw the president's plans the other day. They're splendid.
They say they were like 50 home runs again this season.
And 150 runs. And New York will win the band. He has a long future in baseball, I think. Especially now that he's
Daddy, he was a good teacher.
Elizabeth? For God's sake, what are you doing? You didn't leave your senses? Elizabeth, stop that. Stop that, you hear? Come on. Oh. No, spit. Go on, spit. Stop that, you hear? You get the hell out of there. Get.
Come on, Lizzie. Let's get that mess off your dress. That was the most appreciated turkey I ever saw.
Our coffee will be getting cold.
.49 upstairs is elevating slightly ahead of Alpha here. She's at .38. Alpha's at .35.
Good and diabetic.
Hmm.
Good coma curve. What's your temperature?
97.5. Cooler than it is in here.
Uh-huh. Coma time. What do you mean it's only 94?
Okay, lady. Not gonna feel a thing. Except maybe a whole lot better. And that's a promise. Ain't that right, Mr. Best?
Certainly is, Mr. Banting.
Fly fast. We'll take samples from both in an hour. .26.
Hell, that's it's almost a 24% reduction. Well, I guess it's stiffened the sinews time. Might as well do it.
.09.
I have to think of a name. Well, Alpha seems pretty good to me. The star of the constellation.
No, the extract, for the extract.
Ooh, yeah. Jesus. Now, wait a minute, Charlie. This stuff, it's, it is pretty crude. I mean, this is only the beginning. We could never use this on a human being. We have to get this stuff so pure that it would not blemish a baby's bottom. But in the meantime...
Banting, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but it should be tempered with a little bit of objectivity, which you'll find will come with experience. For example, are you sure the reduction in blood sugar was not due to the dilution of the blood by the liquid extract you injected? And what of diurnal variation?
I don't know.
Well, you could start by measuring red corpuscles and hemoglobin to control this, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I'd have thought you'd have known that best.
Yes, sir.
You have to realize your entire evidence is incomplete till the total utilization of blood sugar has been more carefully measured. Diligence, gentlemen, is the mother of good fortune.
Well, perhaps we could improve on our methods if, well, the lab facilities aren't the best. And the way we've had to work this summer, cleaning out the dogs since May.
Dr. Banting.
I was wondering if you could see your way to some kind of salary. And I'm in debt, and I have no way of borrowing.
Money does not grow on trees. You've already far exceeded the number of dogs we agreed on.
Professor McLeod, the work that Best and I are doing it's extremely important. Now, it holds great promise.
Your research is no more important than any other in this department.
I've given up everything I have in the world to do this research. I'm sorry, we have achieved something other than negative results. We have proved, as no one has before, ever, that blood sugar can be reduced. Yes, yes, you can pick holes, and they're justified. Yes, we were sloppy. But I know that we are on the right track. Do you think I like living like an impoverished hermit? And what I want to know is, what does the University of Toronto feel about my research? Do they believe in it, or do they give diddly squat? Do they think it's important?
As far as you're concerned, laddie, I am the University of Toronto.
I see. Well, then, unless, within 24 hours, you agree to provide new facilities, I shall have to take my idea elsewhere.
And Dr. Banting, I suggest you do. And where do you think you'll go?
The Mayo Brothers.
An advertising institution.
The Rockefeller Institute.
They've finished with diabetic research when they forced Frederick Allen to leave.
Professor McLeod, you told us as scientists we should leave no stone unturned. Well, I am taking your advice, either here or at an institution with vision. Let me know your final decision in the morning.
Are you crazy?
Probably.
No one has ever spoken to McLeod
Charlie?
like that. In 30 seconds,
Charlie
you
boy,
ruined everything.
I don't know how, but I am going to show that patronizing, short-ass son of a bitch that he's not the University of Toronto. Mark my words.
He dared to make an ultimatum in front of Best.
And why didn't you dismiss him in front of Best?
Because he's not on staff to be dismissed. The man doesn't realize he's working with some of the best and most up-to-date facilities in the world. In Paris or London, they'd give a lot to have what we have.
Perhaps a nap.
I don't want a nap. I want some lunch.
Are the experiments important? What I meant was, is the work going anywhere?
Well, I had a good summer, considering their experience. It was a pooling of ignorance.
Would you work under the same conditions?
I'm head of the department, for God's sake.
Which translates as no. You worked for nothing.
Grace, I did the man a favor. He came to me.
But as head of the department, you should be able to weasel some money from somewhere.
He won't be back.
Before Dr. Banting goes to America and...
Subject closed. I keep thinking about von Behring, the German who discovered diphtheria and tetanus immunization. He got very erratic results at first all over the place. Then a chap named Ehrlich came along and standardized the vaccine. Supposing von Behring had been kicked out of the Koch Institute.
September 3rd, 1922. The Beaches, Southampton, New York. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hughes, I am returning Elizabeth's letters to Melanie, together with our devastating news that Melanie passed away peacefully on Thursday. I know you share the same sorrows that my husband and myself.
Oh, this dinner will be the death of me. I do hope Admiral Cato will like Precious Rocks. I don't believe it's reached Japan yet.
Why do you think Melanie hasn't replied to my letters?
Melanie? Well, I don't know. Perhaps they didn't forward them. But with all that traveling, they never catch up with it.
If I had died yesterday, I'd be in a casket.
Those are terrible, macabre thoughts.
Being prepared. Nothing would have changed. And you would have been calling Catherine home, choosing a dress for me to be buried in.
Stop it.
I'm going to die, aren't I? That's what Melanie's mother said. And Melanie's dead. And you didn't tell me that either. I suppose you'll put a memorial window in the clinic chapel, or a plaque, safe in the arms of Jesus.
Oh, Elizabeth.
At my stage, there is no hope. Why didn't you tell me?
Please.
Always tell the truth, you said.
Well, it was the best thing, we thought. It was the best thing.
Say it.
Elizabeth.
Say it.
One always hopes and prays.
Say it! There is no hope!
There is no hope. You are going to die.
Well, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to beat it, that's what. You wait and see. You wait and see.
Well, it's very generous. I just don't know what to say.
You could try thank you.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. I mean, that goes without saying. I was wondering, Professor McLeod, if you would consider joining us formally in the research to be part of the...
Oh, no. You should complete the work before others join you. But I see no reason why you shouldn't share some of your results to date with your colleagues at the Physiological Journal Club. I have a meeting in November. Perhaps you and Bess would like to present a paper. Oh, think about it.
Well, ain't that the cat's meow?
I hope you're better at public speaking than I am, because it's going to be you up on that podium.
Many of you will not have met Dr. Banting before. He'll be telling you about, describing to you some pretty interesting results, showing that intravenous doses of the new extract seem to work with spectacular results. A total of 60 cc's was administered, which had the effect of lowering the dog's blood sugar from 0.30 to 0.07 in less than 3 hours. There was another interesting test involving the subcutaneous injection of the new extract. 5 of them, in fact, at hourly intervals. Dr. Banting will place them in time for us, no doubt. Now, during which it was found that blood sugar did not change. Now, whether or not this is seen as positive for the line of investigation depends upon how you look upon the whole business.
Anything left for poor Banting to say?
And leave the floor to my colleagues, Mr. Charles Best and Dr. F.G. Banting, who will elaborate on his work over this past summer. Dr. Banting.
Looks like Professor McLeod is covered. There's nothing really left for me to say.
Well, I must admit my enthusiasm sometimes carries me away. Let's adjourn, shall we, and talk informally.
Did you hear that? We. Well, what's he ever contributed? Dick all.
I didn't hear him say we.
And where was he when it was 100 degrees, huh? The flies are crawling all over the incisions, and the place is reeking with piss and dog shit. Fishing for goddamn salmon in Scotland. That's where.
Well, in this crowd, you do best to keep your feelings to yourself.
It tells me, Charlie, our results are very positive. And what McLeod and all these sycophants can positively smell.
Immortality?
Being famous forever.
Take heart there, boy. Take heart. Look at it this way. You brought out the big guns.
I did.
How about Colonel Goodrum over there, the one with the rose in his lapel? The real power behind the University Board of Governors. Next to him, you might know Duncan Graham, Major Domo of the Toronto General Hospital establishment. Only God carries more weight around the wards, and next to him, I don't know who it is.
Banting!
I think he wants us to kiss his ring.
2 people I'd like you to meet. Professor Grimm, Dr. Banting.
Professor Grimm?
Interesting project, Banting.
And this is Professor Collop, who's here on a sabbatical from Saskatchewan.
Alberta, sir. University of Alberta.
Oh, yes. Professor Collop is an expert on glandular secretions and making tissue extracts.
I was impressed with your results, Dr. Banting. Yes, very impressed. Yes, I'd be interested in helping out if I could, perhaps with the refining of extract.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yes, and there's one other. Dr. Taylor. He has an interesting idea for you.
Dr. Taylor will do a longevity test. Sure, we'll see how long we can prolong a diabetic dog's life using regular extract doses. And then McLeod has the nerve to say, we should start immediately, Dr. Banting. Well, I wonder if we has considered how long we have to wait for the pancreas to atrophy. And has we thought of how many dogs it will take to keep one diabetic mutt alive for even a month?
You know what he always says? Good scientists work to get blood from a stone.
You can be sure he's written a paper on that, too. And no doubt presented it at the Royal Physiological Society, Timbuktu.
I think we'll keep her here a few days to keep an eye on her, though. It is a little bit of a setback. Her weight being down to 55 pounds disturbs me. The thing is, the onset of winter begins a period of great risk. Elizabeth has no resistance to winter ailments, especially respiratory. Her circulation could become impaired and could lead to gangrene. You must send her to a warmer climate until spring.
Mr. Hughes has the disarmament conference.
Bermuda would be ideal. From here on in, she'll need every assist she can get.
This longevity mutt, I want to call her Marjorie.
Marjorie?
I had a goldfish named Marjorie.
Huh?
Cat ate it.
Oh.
Who is that?
Oh, it's Collett. James Collett. You remember MacLeod introduced us. He seems like quite a nice chap. No, don't encourage him. I don't want to blame him much.
I hear the longevity test is going splendidly.
18 days.
Wow. Yes, very exciting. You chaps should read the latest papers of Pelasco, the Romanian.
I found his results.
Yes, interesting stuff. I really hope I can be of some assistance. Getting the impurities out of the extract, that's the tricky part. Yes, has to be as pure for human test. I mean, that is what you're shooting for, right?
Yes, yes, of course.
Splendid. Thank you.
Beef's good.
I'll have the roast beef. Rare.
I'll be fine. I can collect shells and think of all the new breads I can add to my list. I never did like snow anyway.
Now, just as soon as I can
The
get...
conference is important. For peace in the world, right?
Right.
No tears. I promised myself no tears. I'm envious. Sunny beaches, tea with the Governor General. But there's no escaping me. I'm coming down in January. Winter in New York is more than I can stand.
I'm really proud. Your understanding...
I'd go to Siberia if it would help me get well.
I know.
Father needs you here. I'm the one who should be...
I'll pray every day. Right? Think of you.
Well, I suppose we'd better.
Blanche is waiting outside.
Right.
Goodbye, sweetie. Bye-bye, dear.
And now, Mr. Secretary, we have to get you packed. Ready for Paris.
Oh, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, my love. Meeting with Duncan Graham. He fell in love with his...
Professor MacLeod's office? I think he just left for the day. Could you wait one moment and I'll see if I can catch him? All the way from Boston, Massachusetts, Dr. Elliot Jocelyn.
He's one of the top diabetic men in America. Put him through. Hello, Dr. Jocelyn. Yeah, Gigi MacLeod. This is indeed an unexpected pleasure. Oh, well. Yes, it's true I have been doing some work on the influence of pancreatic extracts, but the research is still very much in the embryonic stage. Or to publish, you see. Oh, well, it's a wee bit premature for that. Yes. We've a lot to do to refine our results. Oh, Nicholas Paulescu, you mean? No, well, my colleagues here, Dr. Banting and Mr. Best, found his results a little unimpressive. Oh, a clinical test. Oh, we're a long way from using it on a human being. But I was thinking of having my colleagues present a paper on, at the New Haven meeting after Christmas. At full speed? Well, you could say that. Yes. Yes, we're working at full speed. Yeah, well, thank you. At New Haven, I will talk more then. Goodbye. Miss Grange, I want you to go down to Dr. Banting's lab. Ask him if I can see all his notes up to date. And can we meet tomorrow?
Changing your mind about Dr. Banting and his work?
Perhaps. I like to think that I can put aside my own prejudice for the good of the cause. And I recognize Banting's gift of instinct. Unorthodox though it may be, it does seem to lead him to things that a more regimented brain like my own might never even consider. And I recognize his rebelliousness, his passion to succeed. That at least we share. Doesn't mean to say I have to like the man.
Yale! Oh, I'd imagine that. It'd impress the hell out of Edith. Oh, and Collop. McLeod's agreed with me. With all the biochem and extract work, it's time for Jimmy Collop to come on board. Do you know who is going to be there at Yale? Allen, Jocelyn, Kleiner. I mean, they are the Tinker, Evers, and Chance of diabetology.
You okay?
All right. What's wrong?
Nothing.
What did I do? What did I say?
Forget it.
Sure, you're the big boy. Have it your way.
You want Collop to come in and steal all the glory? I'm obviously not a good enough biochemist for you. I'm certainly not a PhD.
Charlie, we've got to be honest here. Look, I'm not even sure if we know how to do it. Here, I've got something to show you.
Sweet smell, like rotten apples. That's the final stage. Ketonemia, the acetone in the breath. See, the whole body weakens, succumbs to all kinds of infections, boils, carbuncles, gangrenes, and you kind of operate because of the diabetes. So it's 50-50 what kills them first. Gasping. See, that means that near the end, it's air hunger, it's internal suffocation, coma, and then death. See, there is no escape from here, Charlie. Your odds were better in the trenches. You see, this is why we need Collop. Clown, everybody. When you and me, Charlie, we can't do it all. There'll be enough glory for all of us if we can get it right.
Sweetheart, you're up. Is the baby all right? What's the matter?
Huh?
It's not true.
I just wanted you home. I want us to be home. In Alberta, Edmonton. It's Christmas and I'm homesick.
Christmas?
And the thought of spending Christmas in Toronto, in snotty old Hogtown, and you going away right after.
Just for a few days.
But you're never here. Listening to the baby cry, and washing diapers, and staring at the walls.
I think I might be on to something quite interesting that should impress McLeod and Banting.
It's like a prison.
Didn't you go to Mrs. McLeod's faculty ladies' tea?
Yes. I was the poor relation. The young professor's wife from Alberta. They were so damned patronizing.
May. We'll be home in May. Walks along the Saskatchewan. Summer at your parents'. Cheering the Eskimos.
Do you have to go to New Haven?
Sweetheart, after New Haven, the world's top diabetologists might be talking about this work. I simply can't afford to miss it.
Since the extract, which we have administered over 75 times, has always produced a reduction in the percentage of the blood sugar and the sugar excreted in the urine, we feel justified in stating that the extract contains the internal secretion of the pancreas.
Dr. Banting, Israel Kleiner, with respect, I find it hard to accept that your extract always lowered the percentage of blood sugar.
As I was saying, I meant.
Get it out, man. Get it out.
In the statement, over the... was that over the 75 doses?
I think it's important, if I may interject, gentlemen, to lay stress upon the frequency of direct relationship injection and the subsequent drop in blood sugar level. And just this past week, Mr. Collop had great success in obtaining irrefutable results, showing that the extract enabled a diabetic animal's liver to form glycogen. Now, as you all know, an untreated diabetic liver contains about 0.5% at most. Professor Collop's treated dog had 25.6%.
Face it, I struck out. Now, you weren't that bad.
Not enough to overcome Collop's kick in the slats.
What kick?
What kick? Glory of glycogen.
Ah. Well, he couldn't have done it without your extract. Have you thought of that?
I should have handled my own questions. McLeod took over again.
It's normal, you know, to ask questions of the senior-most person on the train. Team. And last time I looked, that was J.C. J.J. himself. J.J.R., in fact. John James Rickert. Now, what mother would name their child Rickert?
Rickert?
And here's Collop. James Bertram Collop. Now, he had a sensible mother, don't you think?
I came to apologize about the glycogen. Yes, I didn't know McLeod was...
Sure. All that time you just didn't know.
I shall retire to my berth. Fred, where's my berth?
Look, I tried to reach you all Christmas Eve, but you'd already left.
We'll
and
retire.
so had Best. Nobody had a telephone number for you.
No,
and my wife, Jessie.
To all that keep the jungle law. Kipling, the Ard Kipling. My nanny used to read
If you're going to
Kipling.
sleep, for God's sake, go!
Ooh. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bedbugs bite. Hollinger. Lisbeth Hollinger. My nanny.
Look, Banting, if you expect me to grovel, forget it. I won't. I'll say just this.
Oh,
I find the work very exciting. Yes, it has great potential. But we're a team. There isn't one single scientific achievement in history that was realized by one person. This will take all of us working together, shoulder to shoulder as one, in harmony.
Rah, rah, rah.
I've never known anyone in my life as determined.
It's all she's got, determination. She so looks forward to the mailboat.
One for you, Kat. Who's yours from? I've no idea. Blanche is waiting for us. I walked up at least 100 calories. Open it. Are you simply curious to know who it's from? We should get changed for lunch. You have a secret admirer. Oh, what's his name? Your imagination is far too active. You have a beau, right? My darling Catherine, I miss you so much. And I am counting the days until I can gaze into your limpid eyes and brush your ruby lips with my own.
done much painting?
A little. I'm going through my dig-out period.
I saw an exhibition of Mary Cassatt's in New York. She has a wonderful sense of color.
They'll say that about me one day.
Yes, they will.
Kath, you can tell me about your beau. I want to share things, not have them kept from me. It's worse that way because... well, because... I bet he's tall and handsome as a prince. Chances are I won't be able to make your wedding. Dr. Allen will probably make me rest or some foolish thing, but it'll be fun hearing about all the plans. I've been trying to guess his name. Don't tell me. James? Franklin? Robert? Theodore?
Chauncey.
Oh, that's nice.
Chauncey Waddell.
I bet Mother and Father are thrilled to bits.
Yes. Yes, they are.
What kind of beau would get betrothed and not give a ring?
I'll get it.
You're a wonder, sweet pea.
Is he in? But he was.
Before you say a word,
I've just come from seeing...
Duncan Graham, he telephoned to warn me.
He had the gall to say, because I'm not currently a practicing surgeon, when the time comes for the big test...
You're not qualified to treat patients clinically.
Well, this is an injection, for God's sake. This is not surgery on the brain.
I admit it. It drives me crazy at times, but Professor Graham makes the rules for his department. Now, I don't agree with many of them, but I can tell you, he'll not change his mind. You've not treated diabetics. And as far as Graham's concerned, that's... Look, Banting! Think beyond the mechanics. Look to the higher purpose. How the extract gets into the system doesn't matter one whit. It's what it does afterwards that counts. Now, who cares? Who inserts the needle?
But I can pretty well guarantee that Best will have some purified extract by next week.
I had a call-up.
After 8 months of non-stop work, we are this far from a human test. So I think you'll understand how we feel when we say we'd like the test to be our extract, and Best's and mine. I don't care who injects it, as long as...
Yes, well, that's a reasonable request. In a week, you say. And you don't mind if Dr. Campbell administers it.
Hail the Empire! Hail the Empire!
Dr. Campbell? Good morning, thank you. Dr. Graham would prefer if you remained off the ward.
Oh, wonder which one's Leonard Thompson. They say he's 2 weeks left, at the most. So, I'll be wait.
Banting?
Really?
So how's it going? You know, I'm surprised that you're not chomping at the bit by now.
Noble, I'm trying to work.
I would have thought you'd have been supervising the test today.
No. What test?
The test, the first extract used on a human being. Banting and Best.
They're doing what?
Over at the General. Campbell's officiating.
No word.
You wonder how those poor wee birds survive this cold. Minus 25's not fit for man, the beast.
Banting. Dr. Campbell.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
The blood sugar first. Yep. I've got that. And the glucose? It what? Oh, I see. All right.
Blood sugars and the glucose only down marginally. Ketone is still positive. Campbell also said not to feel too bad. At least it didn't kill him.
More experiments, Dr. Banting?
I went against my better instincts. Got caught up in Banting's situation. I was wrong.
The question the board will be asking itself is this a pipe dream running out of control? And if so, at what point do we cancel the project?
What you mean, Duncan, is when will I decide? When research in my department has ceased to be of further value. But it was a setback, Duncan, nothing more. I firmly believe that Collett will eventually isolate the active principle and make a truly effective extract.
done it. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. Yes. I've done it. Well, I've done it.
Done what?
Trapped it. The active principle. It's as pure as hell.
Congratulations. Oh, no. Must have been an incredible moment.
It was. Yes, it appeared right in front of my eyes.
Finally.
Tea. Well, some tea to celebrate.
Now we can try another clinical test. We can decide what the best way is to make this stuff in quantity. Jesus, Collop! God, that's fantastic.
We're about to discover what busy really is. We're going to be working our little asses off to the bone, like you wouldn't believe. So, how did you reach the magic moment? Don't spare the details.
Huh?
How did you...
I don't think I can tell you. No.
Sorry, what did you say?
Why should I tell you anything? I mean, did you tell me about the Thompson test? No, sir, not a thing. You see? Co-conspirators. Why do you want to know? It's my job to purify the extract. My responsibility. But you want to use my methods on your own extract. Take credit for my work, right? Claim it as your own. I mean, your extract hasn't exactly been effective.
Don't push your luck, Collop. That's a pretty paranoid attitude.
Paranoid! That man created the word. Don't you push your luck, Best. Why, I could go back to Alberta at any time, take out a patent in my own name. Yes. Then what would you do?
Huh? You son of a bitch! I should have known better than to trust anyone from some piss-pot cowboy university.
You're a damn man, Banting. You really do believe I do that kind of thing, you know? Because of your puerile attitude. Your jealous little mind works. Because you know nothing about science. That sharing is at the heart of it. The very essence. Another thing. Clinical test you mentioned, it's already been done. On Leonard Thompson. Yes. His glycosuria has almost disappeared. His ketonuria has disappeared. His blood sugar level down from 0.52 to 0.12. Close to normal, wouldn't you say? Yes.
Someone who should be looking like the cat who swallowed the proverbial canary. Night of celebration, was it?
No, just the realization that you can't beat a system that's trying to exclude you. They're stealing. They want to steal my knowledge and my work. And it's all MacLeod's fault. You saw what happened at the Journal Club meeting. You were there.
None of that business at Yale. And now call up tests using my discovery that I'm not told about. Ethics. That's a word that doesn't exist in MacLeod's vocabulary. And you know, in the first injection with Leonard Thompson, it was officially recorded
as MacLeod's serum.
For God's sake, Banting, the first law of survival at a university is to keep one's mouth shut in washrooms. It was?
It's well after midnight. Everyone's been working too hard.
Don't make excuses for him. The man's emotional instability is a very destructive force. All I wanted to do was pursue the work. Grace, it has enormous possibilities.
You could have shared the results with Banting. He was the one who came to you.
I wasn't even conscious of excluding him. Well, maybe I didn't want to be embarrassed again. Once bitten. But to steal another man's work, I can never forgive him for saying that.
So what do you think? Charlie, what do you think?
I thought Fred suffered from the occasional...
Yes. Now, I need one for the Easter parade. Something somber for Ash Wednesday.
And this, for Pete's sake. At the Yale conference, we were able to report results. It's like Fred and I had nothing to do with it. I mean, Marjorie survived for 70 days before we finally had to put her down. Without our work, our extract column...
Charles. Ascension?
No. Thank you.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
No.
In view of the fact that this work is now public knowledge, I was thinking that perhaps we should prepare... You're all right, aren't you?
Yes. Some days are like the tide. Flow of good results and then the ebb. Right now we're at the ebb.
You could use a good night's sleep. Even God scheduled a day off.
I don't know how you get so many colds.
I never got colds in Alberta.
All right. Patience. Patience. Do you realize what time it is? Now, you're talking nonsense, laddie. You're too distraught to be able to think clearly. Now, I suggest you just calm down, get a good night's sleep, and in the morning go over your notes. I see. Well, one supposes that in the light of day you'll... All right. I'll come over as soon as I can.
James?
Collop has lost the ability to purify the extract. It seems the star of my firmament did not keep adequate notes.
Fred?
What the hell? Oh, close the goddamn window, for Christ's sake. I'm gonna die of pneumonia.
Close it yourself.
All right. For what, Shirley? I'm gonna go back to being a GP up in the Arctic. I'm gonna go where I'm appreciated. I'm gonna get me a wifey. God, I'm thirsty. I'm going to go and get a wife. Someone I can talk to. Like you, huh? I mean, you've got Margaret. And where are my cigarettes? You see, I'm through with pancreases and all those harebrained pancreas. And I'm going to heal the sick and the infirm and all that crap.
Collop lost the neck.
I've gone to the knackery, I hope.
Can't remember how to purify the extract.
He's about due to ride back to cowboy country anyway. He can't what?
Remember, he forgot to take notes.
Collop?
The great biochemist broke the cardinal rule, MacLeod's first commandment.
No, it's a plot. Tomorrow, the next day, he will remember, and then he will be the hero again. MacLeod, Collop, they felt the brass ring, laddie. They're not going to let that slip. You can count on that. So, let them have it.
Well, thank you. And what about me? You walk away now and I'm left on my own. But you don't give a damn, do you? Leonard Thompson's gone home to die because there's no more extract. Do you care? As for loyalty, you don't even know the meaning of the word. You're pitiful. You're a damn pitiful quitter.
Dearest Mumsy, I couldn't wait to write today's letter. Guess where I've just come back from? How would you know? We were invited to Government House to watch the tent pegging. And afterwards, the Governor General showed me all their things from his days in India. And now that the Clintons have gone back to England, we can pick flowers from their garden. Say, we got gorgeous zinnias. And on the beach today, I collected some marvelous new shells. Blanche is going to show me how to frame a mirror with them.
Dear Mrs. Hughes, I'm sure Elizabeth has told you that the diarrhea has been checked and she is looking much, much better. But that is not true, I'm afraid. This week she has shown very little improvement. For several days she was extremely weak.
They play a game called cricket here. It's similar to baseball, but it's much slower. And they're always stopping to have lunch or tea. One thing they don't do is burn up many calories.
She has so little reserve strength. I enclosed Dr. Allen's letter. He has recommended a 57-calorie increase in her protein and fat to 833 calories a day to give her more strength. I sense Elizabeth is dying.
Nettie,
that
Nettie.
Whatever happens inside the body to the organs that precipitates death is happening to Elizabeth.
Then we should bring her home, Nettie. If she is dying, she must be with us.
He, sir. Frederick Banting. At your service.
May I?
Oh, yes, please have a seat.
My dear boy, the Jungle Telegraph tells me the race is on. And the betting is there'll be a purified stable extract within a month. The only question is, who's going to do it first? Collop or Best?
Well, that's a bit soon, perhaps.
Anyway, it's not going to make much difference to me. Graham and his gang are determined to keep me out of hospital.
So, you outflank them. Go back into private practice here in Toronto to treat diabetics. After all, they wouldn't dare deny the man who discovered the extract access to it. Now I hear the Christie Street Military Hospital is opening up a new diabetic clinic. They'll be looking for someone to head it up. Well, think about it. I mean, what good will their clinic be if they can't get their hands on the extract? And then when Goodrum and the rest of the board hear about it, how's it going to look? The man who discovered the extract, not good enough to work in the hospital where it was first tested. Mark my words, you'll be back at the General.
Wouldn't that be sweet? Seeing them all line up, kiss my ass.
Handle things right, and the world will be your oyster. And Banting, for God's sake, do buy yourself a new suit. Ah, JJ. I was just telling Banting here, it's damn well about time you all came up with a name for this miracle. I mean, did Hoffman go around calling aspirin the powder all the time?
Best and I did think of Iceland. Iceland.
Iceland? Sure not. Iceland? In Spanish? In German?
It would be good to have a name to give to the world. You might consider something based on the Latin root for isle. Well, the Latin root for the word isle is insula. You might consider insulin.
Yes. I like it. It sounds as though it belongs. Yes. Insulin.
color. How's it going?
Oh, not bad, I suppose. You know how it is.
Too well.
Yes, saw your results from last week. Pretty discouraging.
And if at first you don't succeed?
Absolutely. You'd think recapturing it would be easy, especially for me. I mean, I saw it. I held it in my hands. How about this week? With a prototype. Any closer?
No. No. It's a maze. Every time I think I found a way out, nothing. Nothing.
Well, back to work. Shoulders to the grindstone.
Wheel.
Yes.
You have to prepare yourselves. You must appreciate you've had Elizabeth far longer than I ever dared to hope. And this must be great comfort to you. Made that time together more valuable, more meaningful. But even the incredible fortitude, inner strength, deep, hidden inner strength that she's been able to tap, not even that can last forever.
How long?
Confined to bed. 2 months at the most. Possibly even weeks.
Hello? Go on in.
Dr. Banting, I presume?
Very well. Oh, what do you think?
It's not the Ritz. I brought you a little office when I'm present.
You should.
No, it's not. Will you open the damn thing?
Oh, yes. You want me to make a speech?
You? Please.
Damn reading the links. So I thought I'd take it in hand.
It came together last night. We trapped it, as Collop would say. And what you hold in your hand is pure, lovingly created insulin. It's yours, Fred. It belongs to you. Oh, my sweated blood. Without your idea, I'd just be another med student in his final year.
Hey, what a great surprise. It's not even 4 o'clock. Best? Well,
The important thing is that it's purified again.
Yes.
You were the first
But I
one.
dropped it in the end zone.
You always say it's about sharing, about working together.
Just this once.
It was an announcement, a progress report to the medical profession. It will be months, even years, before they can produce enough insulin to supply all those who need it. Besides, they don't know if it is a cure. Its effects may only be temporary. Some people have been known to react violently.
Well, then why do they publish things like this? Tell me. Raising false hopes? Elizabeth has only weeks.
What we have to do is thank God that the discovery has been made. That in our time we might see one of the greatest achievements in modern medicine.
Might? I thought it was a fact. The New York
Mrs.
Times
Hughes,
is a reliable
thousands will die before insulin becomes a reality. That's the sad truth.
Dr. Allen, I cannot sit and do nothing, knowing there is, as I see it, a miracle some 500-600 miles from here. And if I ignore what I know, I could never live with myself again. That's not easy to do anyway.
Every one of my patients is dying. They have dying patients in Toronto. Elizabeth, with respect, is not alone. Someone, Mrs. Hughes, will have to decide who doesn't get insulin.
Who do you suggest I see in Toronto?
I beg your pardon.
This Professor McLeod, this Dr. Banting, this Professor...
Oh, Banting. I would suggest Dr. Banting. He's the one behind it. I'm sure he's already inundated. I will write a letter of introduction for you. But promise nothing.
So that means we're going to have to start tomorrow at about 8. Okay. Well, we'll just go right through.
Hardeth, I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and I want to go to Christie Street.
Excuse me, Dr. Banting?
Oh, yes. Well, we're closed for the day.
I'm Mrs. Hughes.
Yes. Well, the nurse will take your name.
I've written you several times.
Oh, of course. Hughes. It's from Ottawa.
From Washington. And more recently, Morristown, New Jersey. My daughter Elizabeth...
Frederick Allen's coming. Right.
What are you doing here?
I came to appeal to you.
Mrs. Hughes, as I tried to explain in my letters, it's very difficult. Insulin supplies are erratic. We're having trouble making them in any kind of quantity. We don't know if it really works. It's just too early.
It offers extra time.
Every day I have to turn some people away. 2 hours ago, in fact, there was a lineup, 2 and 3 people abreast. So how can I, in all conscience, leapfrog your daughter ahead of those? When I came in yesterday morning, there were half a dozen people waiting. One woman had walked for more than an hour.
Can't walk 300 feet. She's down to 789 calories a day and has trouble standing. She has been clinging to life, Dr. Banting, for 3 years. Normally, meeting people is not difficult for me. But you're different. You have the one thing in life that I want. Quite honestly, this is the most important meeting of my entire life.
What you must understand...
Please let me finish. Rehearse this over and over. It's much better on the train. This coming here, this appealing to you, is the one thing I have left to offer her.
Look at Mrs. Hughes. Even if I had the insulin, you know what people would say. I accepted your daughter because of your husband's position.
that an innocent child was
Then
denied...
Elizabeth is as much a human being... Here, listen to this. This is a letter she wrote to me. She was in Bermuda. She wrote every day. Here, I do so look forward to coming back here next year. Dr. Allen says she has only weeks left. But I think I'll have to have one of those radio telephones so I can hear your voice. No, I wasn't with her.
Mrs. Hughes, I didn't...
I'm sorry. Last night, Blanche and I, that's her nurse, Blanche and I watched Mars come up. It's the nearest it will be to the Earth until 1924. We'll be able to watch it together then. And she talks of getting a small traveling typewriter. So, authors always have one, and I should learn how to manage it correctly. And she asks me to renew her subscription to American Girl for another year. Do you have children, Dr. Banting?
No.
No. When you do, if you're like me, you will find yourself wondering, as they get older, if you've done all you could for them. I've not done all I could for Elizabeth. I helped give her this life. Now I have the chance to help her be reborn. How many mothers have that opportunity? All right, Elizabeth has been privileged, as I have. And I have never had to fight for anything in my entire life, and I didn't think I could do it. I don't know if you have ever had to fight for something you deeply believe in, but each setback just makes one fight harder. I mean, use any tactic. Make people realize, I'm very new at this. It's not easy. But I have to know, when I walk out of here, whether Elizabeth will live or die.
Subcutaneous tissues are almost completely absorbed. What's her weight again?
45 pounds.
Right, I'll take a small control sample. Elizabeth, we're going to try to make you a whole lot better. So, I'm going to take a small sample of blood so I can have something to refer to when you start to make fantastic progress. Elizabeth, I'm going to give you 1 cc of insulin twice a day, starting today, to relieve the sugar in the urine. It'll sting a little. I'm sure you won't mind.
Every time I think of that man, I'm consumed by anger. I realized in Washington, when all the delegates and the newspaper people surrounded me and asked, how did it all come about? And I said those words. It all began with Dr. Banting coming to me with an idea. I realized this was to be my cross. It all began with Banting. I've tried to reason with myself. I'm an intelligent man, acknowledge. that insulin is the greatest thing to have happened to me professionally. But I feel it's tainted. And I should feel a sense of accomplishment. All I feel is resentment, jealousy. All I can see is that man in his new car and the world hailing him as if he was some kind of a messiah. You know his nomination for a Nobel is a certainty.
James, please, you cannot change what's happened. Years from now...
Oh, years from now. Years from now. When I was a student, I used to think, years from now, perhaps they'll be saying MacLeod, as they say Pasteur.
I do not want to go back to the city to be Fred's eternal appendage.
Well, at least I'm learning about your moods before our marriage.
That's one way I can be sure to get my name in the paper.
Oh, come on, Charlie. You know, you're sounding more like Fred every day.
I'm sorry. This whole thing is passing me by. Damn it, I contributed a lot to this. You'd never know it.
Fred always acknowledges.
No. Not always. When he remembers. Could have been Clark Noble.
Who?
This way, it's right to the top, Fred.
This way, gentlemen. Hang on. This way. Gentlemen, I would like you to meet the most rewarding patient in the world, Miss Elizabeth Hughes. Elizabeth, I would like you to meet Dr. Jeffrey, Dr. Kleiner, Dr. Campbell, Dr. Taylor, Dr. Jocelyn, Mr. Best, Dr. MacLeod, and Dr. Allen. Someone who has been waiting for this moment.
It's remarkable. Truly remarkable.
I have never seen anybody with diabetes look so well.
It's incredible. The last time I saw her, she was just about the weight of her bones and soul. Thank you. Thank you. I would have never have known you. It's been a resurrection.
Fred Banting?
Ah, there you are. Hard person to reach, my boy. Well, tell me, will you still be speaking to your old friends?
Valiant, I will always have time for you. Just got back from Allison. Peace, tranquility, even time to paint. What can I do for you?
Well, the paper, dear boy. The paper. You've read it, haven't you?
Oh, no, the weekly stage doesn't get into Allison until Wednesdays.
I don't believe it. Dear boy, you have done it. The big one. The prize. The Nobel Prize.
Come on.
The truth is I live and breathe. For physiology and medicine, Ewan MacLeod, page 1 of the Globe. Banting, you're still there?
I don't believe it. MacLeod? Not Best?
Well, sadly, they don't mention him. It's just Ewan MacLeod.
Don't do anything more to discredit a remarkable achievement. Fred!
Where is he?
He was in England.
Went due back last Friday.
His boat was delayed.
Best. Where's Best?
Harvard, giving an address to medical students for Dr. Jocelyn.
I don't believe it. What did MacLeod do to deserve that goddamn...
Do not spend the rest of your life trying to correct every wrongdoing inflicted on this world.
What did that man do to deserve the goddamn Nobel Prize? You tell me. You name one experiment he contributed. Tell me. How many hours did he spend in the lab? And tell me, where was he during that long, stinking summer of 21?
It's out of our hands. Fred Banting, you have achieved something that will be part of the fabric of this country. Our first ever Nobel Prize. Now, congratulations. I mean, savor it. They cannot take it away from you. You have to be in Stockholm in 11 days. There's a boat leaving the day after tomorrow.
First, I have a prior commitment in New York. Second, I'm not going to Stockholm. Not this week, next week, or any other week.
My dear boy, this is the Nobel Prize we are speaking of.
They can shove it up their... Grow up!
I'm sorry. I do understand, but damn it, you've got to learn to rise above these things. In years to come, when people ask me about today, I want to be able to say that you were a very
I won't accept this prize. I have to live with myself. I have to be able to look myself in the eye. More importantly, I have to be able to look Charlie Best in the eye. I'm simply not going to Stockholm.
Please, Fred. Please think about what I said. Think about your responsibilities as a scientist.
What are we going to do with all the people out there? They're like a pack of wolves, and the phone keeps ringing.
A minute, would you send a telegram for me, please?
Of course.
To Dr. Elliot Jocelyn, Harvard University, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Stop. At any meeting or dinner, please read the following. Stop.
I ascribe equal share in the discovery to Charles Best. Stop. I'm hurt that he is not so acknowledged by Nobel trustees. Stop. Will share with him. Stop. Signed, Banting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you care to comment on the statement by Dr. Banting?
I've no doubt that every statement Dr. Banting makes is accurate in every particular. Now, I have a short statement to make. It would be invidious and quite unnecessary to try and divide up the work on insulin among the various men who were involved in it. I would, however, like to emphasize that it was teamwork that did it. And it was on that basis that Dr. James Bertram Collip came into the work with us. Dr. Collett made a very important contribution, and his share was equal to that of the others. And that is why I telegraphed him from Quebec City, asking him to accept half of my share of the prize money.
Still can't believe you really are here. We were all afraid someone would come up and we'd send a cable instead.
J.J.R. MacLeod left the University of Toronto in 1928 and returned to Scotland as Regius Professor at the University of Aberdeen. He died at the age of 59 in 1935.
James Bertram Collett went on to do other research, becoming the leading figure in the history of endocrinology in Canada. In later years, he and Fred Banting became fast friends.
Charles Best married Margaret Mann and became a leading international figure in medical research. Over time, he and Banting grew apart. Charles Best died in 1978.
Everything is